This is what a narcissist does when they can't break you anymore. The endgame for a narcissist is always the same: to break you. That's their mission. Not love, not partnership, not connection. Confusion, control, making you question your worth, your reality, even your sanity. They want to be the one who decides how you feel about yourself. They want to be the one you can't live without. Not because they care, but because it keeps you tethered to them. It doesn't matter how kind they seemed at first. It doesn't matter if they whispered, "I love you" 1,000 times. Behind every sweet gesture was a calculation. Behind every compliment was a study. They were quietly observing, learning your soft spots, tracking your pain, waiting for the moment they could use it all to tear you down. That's what makes them feel alive. That's what keeps them going. But here's what they never prepare for. You waking up. One day, the fog starts to clear. You start to see the patterns. You stop reacting. You stop begging. You stop falling for the empty promises and carefully crafted apologies. You reclaim your energy. And in doing so, you become someone they cannot touch. You become indestructible. And when that happens, something inside the narcissist begins to crumble in ways even they can't explain. So, today's topic is what happens when a narcissist realizes they can no longer destroy you. Now let's get into it. First, they look in the mirror and don't recognize who they are. Narcissists don't have a stable sense of self. They build their entire identity through other people. Your admiration, your pain, your reactions, that's where they draw their power. When you stop engaging, that mirror shatters. And suddenly, they are looking at a stranger. They feel hollow, unimportant, exposed. That illusion of superiority they once held so tightly, it collapses. Because the truth is, it only existed when you believed in it, when you reflected it back to them. Now, all they see is a mask with nothing behind it, a face they can't connect with, a person they don't actually know. And so, they panic. They'll post happy pictures, show off a new partner, laugh louder, smile harder, but none of it feels real, even to them. Because the one person who validated their entire fantasy has stopped playing along. Second, they can't stop thinking about you. But not because they loved you. You were never just a partner to them. You were a lifeline. You were the mirror, the fuel, the one who made them feel like they were somebody. And now that you're gone, they are desperate to replace that feeling. So they jump into something new. A rebound, a distraction, someone else to validate them. And when that doesn't work, they shift into attack mode. They smear you, lie about you, blame you. But underneath it all, they are obsessed, not with you exactly, but with the power they lost the moment you walked away. They'll pretend like they've moved on, as if you were a distant memory, already replaced, already forgotten. But the truth is far more chaotic than that. They think about you constantly, not with tenderness, not with longing, but with rage. Obsessively, compulsively, like someone haunted by the one thing they couldn't destroy. They replay everything, the way you used to react, the moments you pulled away, the second you stopped begging and started walking. It eats at them. They scroll through your old texts. They stalk your stories. They watch your likes. Every post you make, every smile you show, feels like a personal insult, a loud, unforgivable reminder that you made it out. And to them, that means only one thing: they failed. And that's when the spiral begins. Stage 3. The narcissist implodes while trying to break you again. What starts as obsession turns into self-destruction. They lash out, not just at you, but at themselves. They unravel in real time. The mask slips. The chaos spills out. They drink too much, sleep too little, burn through money, engage in risky behaviors, rage at family, sabotage their own relationships. They start wrecking their own life in the name of revenge, or simply to numb the pain of losing control. Sometimes, they circle back with a sweet-sounding apology. But don't be fooled, it's not real remorse. It's bait, a ploy to pull you back in. Other times, they rage, accuse, threaten, guilt trip. It's confusing because their behavior flips like a switch. One minute they are love-bombing, the next they are stonewalling. It's not because they are healing, it's because they are drowning. They don't know what they want. They just want you back in the cage. But the more they try, the more they unravel. The more they fight for control, the more they lose it. Their lies begin to expose themselves. Their new life isn't working. Their image starts to crack. The house of cards they built on your back begins to collapse because the one thing holding it up was you, and you're no longer playing the game. Then comes the final trick, the illusion of change. This is the strangest, most manipulative phase of all. Suddenly, they become the version of themselves you always wished for. They mirror your growth. They start quoting healing content, talking about inner work, posting about therapy. They show up looking peaceful, spiritual, humble. They say everything you once begged them to say. But here's the truth, it's all a costume. They are not changing, they are performing, trying to shake your certainty, trying to make you question, maybe they've really changed. Maybe it's me who gave up too soon. But you see through it now, because you're no longer the version of yourself they could manipulate. You're clear, you're grounded, you're indestructible, and that terrifies them, because you are no longer feeding their illusion. You're no longer the mirror they relied on to feel real. Now, they're just left with their own reflection. And for someone who never learned who they really are, that is the most terrifying sight of all. Let's be honest, no matter how good they act, how changed they claim to be, how convincing their new persona looks on social media, the truth remains, they haven't changed. Because real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen because they lost control of you. It doesn't come from fear or loneliness or being exposed. Real change takes humility, and that's something the narcissist doesn't have. What you're seeing, it's just a mask, again. And masks get heavy. Eventually, it cracks. The performance ends. And this time, when it does, they fall harder than ever. Because now even pretending doesn't work. Even their best act couldn't pull you back in. That's when the next phase begins, rewriting history. When the narcissist can't win the present, they try to rewrite the past. A narcissist cannot tolerate the version of reality where you left and they lost. So they begin to rewrite the narrative, in their mind and in the minds of others. They tell people you were the abuser, that you were unstable, controlling, toxic. They twist timelines. They say they dumped you first. They suddenly remember things differently. In their version, they were always the one trying, always the one suffering, always the victim. They might send you old photos, remind you of the good times, bring up the sweetest moment from a relationship you now know was abusive. Why? Because they want to trigger your trauma bond. They want you to question your memory, doubt your healing, feel nostalgic. But this isn't about reconnect ion. This is about erasure. They want to erase the truth where they failed. They want to repaint the story into one that gives them back their power. But deep down, they know the truth. They were there, and that truth eats away at them silently. The final blow, watching you live freely. Nothing wounds a narcissist more than seeing you live the life they tried to convince you you'd never have without them. Your joy is a knife. Your peace is proof. Every laugh you post, every photo with friends, every moment of healing that you claim publicly or privately hurts them. And it doesn't matter how much time has passed or who they're with now. Their job, remember, was to destroy you. You weren't supposed to get back up, but you did. And not only did you get up, you kept walking, building, smiling. They wanted you bitter. You chose peace. They wanted you weak. You got stronger. They wanted you stuck in the pain. You made it your purpose. And that is the punishment they cannot escape. There is no revenge more powerful than your healing. Being indestructible doesn't mean you never bled. It means you didn't stay broken. You looked pain in the eye. You rebuilt from the ashes. You let go, moved on, and stopped making their destruction your identity. That kind of strength isn't loud. It doesn't scream for justice. It just is. It's steady, silent, powerful, and completely untouchable. So every time they think of you now, what they really feel is failure. You became the one person they could not defeat, and they will never forget that. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to live, breathe, heal, be free. That is the greatest win. That is how you become unshakable, unreachable, undestroyable, forever.